Welcome to another episode of Duck's Electronic Repair Bench.
Afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Have to think about that because of the holiday. I'm gonna do this. I don't know when this will be posted, or probably if it'll be posted, but you won't know that anyway. So, the radios that I got yesterday, like I said, 2 of those worked well enough to put them aside to I turned my radio down a little bit, work on later. But the AM/FM shortwave, which is the one I was most curious about, does not work at all. What I did was basically hook up the battery pack to it, and I get just a little bit of a click out of the speaker, pop, whatever you want to call, when you turn the power on and off, and that's about it. So I started checking voltages and stuff like that with the multimeter, and while I was doing that, the battery pack got warm. It got pretty warm, so I'm figuring there's a short somewhere, so got to track that down. First thing I did was to take this switch off, AM/FM or AM shortwave switch off. There was a lot of I don't know exactly what the term would be, but corrosion maybe around the switch, and I'm going to show you here in a second what it looks like underneath the switch. And that has power going to it, and I did not get any power at all going to the switch. Well, I take that back. I got a 0.5 volt or something like that on a couple of terminals, but you know, that's not right. So obviously probably the short is before the switch, I would say. Anywho, what I'm going to do is clean that up really good because it's just a mess. Resolder it in there and stuff like that. So let me show you what I'm up to here. Alright, what you're looking at is the area, the dark spots there underneath the switch. I'm not really sure why they're dark. If you look at the switch closer, you can see that it's not, there's nothing in there on that looks that way. So, and it actually looks like it's been rubbing back and forth like that, but there is no, I mean, other than the switch being loose in there and causing it to do that, but it wasn't, it was soldered in. So I think what I'm going to try to do is clean this by squirting some alcohol or deoxide or something down in the holes and working the switch rather than trying to take this part. That little spring right there has got me worried. I don't think I can, you know, cope with that very well. it's easy enough to take the switch apart, but I don't think I want to do that. So I don't think there's a big problem anyway. I think the switch was working, but anyway, that's where I'm at. Found some questionable wiring here on the power leads, but other than that, I don't see anything jumping out at me. Like I say, this is definitely different type. These daughter boards, what do you want to call them, that are basically just tacked on. I'm sure it's shortwave related because none of the other ones have that. So I got to remember, this is the bottom antenna wire on the side post there, and this one going up underneath the antenna that I've just kind of gotten out of the way is the one that goes up on the top. So I'm going to show you that. It's for me, basically. So also, like I say, the underneath side of it, the printed side, circuit side, whatever you want to call it, doesn't look too bad. So nothing. It's just a typical cheap GE radio. I mean, as far as the solder work, things like that. But that's GE, so I do need to get that tuning cap back in there because, or back attached, because I've got it laying loose there, and I'm hoping I didn't screw it up. So let me get that done, and I'll come back. Alright, I got the wheel back on. You can see everything works fine. It was just a matter of putting the string the right way and putting the little screw back in the middle. I don't have it tightened up, I just have it loose in there. So it does work though, that's the main thing. So like I said, on the circuit board, there's just some questionable solder practices, things of that sort. Places like that, you know, around in this part. I'm going to try to clean those up. Got a little solder blob right there. I think that may have came from my desoldering tool. It likes to spit out solder when I press that plunger down, which is what it's supposed to do. There's the what the holes for the switch look like. The reason I had to take that out is there's a hole right underneath there, and there's just no way of getting to that to unsolder it. So this piece here can go back on anytime. It's not a big deal. So like I said, the switch does work. I know it works because I checked the filter cap, main filter cap, and as soon as I turned the switch on, it had voltage on it here. I'm thinking whether or not I want to go ahead and just replace those caps, and I know I don't have one like that. That's a 500 microfarad. There's one there. There's not a lot of filter caps. There's one there, but when I say filter caps, I mean E-caps. So anywho, that's the first update on this, and I just wanted to bring you up to speed on what I was doing. I'm doing this blind because I have no schematic for this. I've looked all over the internet for a P-965B GE radio, and I found it on Radio Museum, but there's no schematic with it. So like I say, other than, you know, doing what I'm doing, I don't really know what else to do. Is trace out the power circuit. Obviously I don't get power on AM or FM, and like I said, it didn't appear to be the voltage was even getting to the switch. So I would say there's probably a transistor shorted of some kind, and that's probably what I've got looking at. So I may go ahead and pull those and just check them and do that. I don't think it's going to be in any specific area. Now, there's a difference between AM and FM and AM and shortwave. AM and shortwave, pretty much the same type of radio, and I don't know exactly what the switch, the AM shortwave switch, is switching in and out. It may not switch power. It might just switch in a different set of these modules. Like I said, you can see these, what I was talking about. These are just like tacked in with wire along the edges of the board. You see all the different ones there, and they're just kind of modules basically, and they wouldn't be that hard to remove. And I may do that just to check them out, and I think it'd be easier to work on, because I'm not going to be able to get to the underneath side of that to unsolder things, is what I'm looking at, because they do not come all the way through, as you can see. So there's your outline of the tacks right there on each side. So that may be where I go with it. This soldering tool that I have makes it really easy to do, and I really enjoy that immensely. So I may go ahead and do that and just check those and see what I've got there, and again check the take those out and check the power again, and, you know, turn it on, see if it causes the battery heat up again. That would at least tell me if the the problem is in those modules or where, but again, don't know. So gonna do that later on. It's getting almost squirrel pickup time, so I don't have much. I probably won't have any time to work on it after they pick them up. They occupy my time, you know. So that ought to do it for this little wrap up, or not wrap up, but you know what I'm saying. I've got to get a box for all this and put that in and get it all settled, squared away, and so gonna do that and get ready to go pick them up, and that'll be about it. So you guys have a hopefully wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all later.